Okay, just want to say welcome to everybody that's here. We will be waiting until noon to get started. Um, and then that way it'll just give anybody else last minute, I guess any last minute joiners, it'll definitely give them extra time. All right, so just while we wait for this last moment, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. So if you can hear me, if you can just make note in the questions field, I guess so that way we can see and make sure that that's working. Because this is my first time using Zoom webinar. Perfect, Diane, thank you. Awesome, perfect. Sandy, you can hear me, that's great. So if there's any questions, you can go ahead and put your questions within this field. And I've lost my voice at QuickBooks Connect, so those of you that saw me there last week would know this, so I do apologize, and I am going to do the best I can, so hopefully everything will work out fine. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through this. I'm going to show some screenshots. Then we're going to dig into demos, and then there will be plenty of time for questions if you want to see something in particular that I haven't shown you or something that you want to see a little slower. There'll be plenty of time for all of that. Okay, so let's just get started here. So I am using just my last deck that I did with the with Intuit, just simply because it's been crazy and I didn't even get a chance to move this over to one of my own branded ones. Okay, so how to manage your practice. And so I'm going to show you how to manage your practice like a pro and the tools and tricks to running a smooth business using mostly QBOA practice management. So there's myself. You can find me at Tanya's Bootcamp. I'm the founder of Cloud Bookkeeping Services and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Tanya Hiltz, and I am Certified Professional Bookkeeper through the Institute of Professional Bookkeepers of Canada. So a little bit about myself, and I see that I have not actually updated this. So I of course, am the Intuit's global firm of the future, not just a Canadian finalist for 2018, as well as I was a runner-up for 2017. I was, I guess, found to be a top 21 influencer within the Canadian bookkeeping world of 2018, and recently honored with the Inspire Influencer Award for 2018 from the Canadian Accounting and Bookkeeping World. As well as an Insightful Accountant, Top 100 Pro Advisor for 2018, a HubDoc Top 50 Cloud Accounting Firm for 2017, a Black Swan alumni mentoring under Ron Baker, which was, I guess, a program through the IPBC. I am a Futurepreneur Canada volunteer mentor, a member of the Intuit Trainer Writer Network, an Intuit All-Star Community member, I guess, which just means that I answer a lot of questions on the QuickBooks Online Community Forum. We are a Platinum Pro Advisor firm, Advanced Certified QBO Pro Advisor, Certified Desktop Pro Advisor, certified in many apps such as HubDoc, WayPay, TSheets Pro. Again, certified professional bookkeeper through the IPBC with over 20 years of bookkeeping and income tax experience. Personally, about myself, anybody who knows me or who scrapes me on Facebook knows that I like unique experiences. I love my family, and my daughter and I go and do a lot of these unique experiences. So some of you might recognize some of those are past members of like the Vampire Diaries and Supernatural TV shows, as well as Marianas Trench and Headley, which are two Canadian bands. So we like going, again, doing unique experiences and spending time with, again, unique experiences with some celebrities, as well as my daughter and I are learning American Sign Language together. And of course, Rosie, who is also our office manager for those of you who have ever been on my website. So our agenda today. So we're going to go through the current pain points, what you could automate, and what tools you can use to automate. So with that, value pricing and automation go hand in hand. And imagine what you could do with more free time, especially when it comes to your internal administrative tasks that you're not billing for. So today we're going to focus on what you can automate for your practice and the tools that you can use to do that. So I like to start every one of my webinars with a quote. And when it comes to this, any type of workflow or practice management, this one really speaks to me. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks, and then starting with the first one. And so this was by Samuel Longhorn Clemens, who is also known as Mark Twain. Now, if anybody can be an example of just getting started, I would think that it would be Mark Twain, would definitely be one of them. Because although he's famous for his works about the adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, he has a total of 48 published books under his pen name. That's an awful lot of writer's block that he likely had to work through. So it seems quite clear with his quote that he was able to work through and publish so many books by breaking things down into small, manageable tasks. So I completely agree with this, and by now you probably feel the same, that with moving to the cloud, trying to become more efficient, value price, change your business, change the way the clients perceive your business and work with you, it gets really overwhelming and sometimes you don't know where to start. Just break everything down into a bunch of smaller tasks. It's much easier to see through things if you're only looking at what is directly in front of you and determine how you can make that one item, task, or process more efficient, and then move on to the next one, and then so on. 75%. So I always like to throw in a number as well. And did you know that you can automate up to 75% of our tasks, which can make you more efficient and effective? So these are great numbers. I've been able to do this myself with our firm. We just need to be careful and recognize that we can't let the automation lower our quality of work, and we still need to keep compliance in line. In mind. So it's very important that we find the right balance, and this does change from client to client. So when I'm talking about the automation, I just want to make it clear, I do not automate a lot of things through HubDoc and through Receipt Bank. I still want to view every single receipt for compliance and for quality. I still want to make sure that the client's not put a personal item on there. So when I'm talking about the 75%, again, I'm talking about your other more administrative tasks. So I just want to do a quick survey here, and let's just use the comments to let me know what software or apps, or I guess in the question field, what software or apps that you're using to make your practice more efficient. If you're using any right now. So we'll just give a few moments just to see if any comments come in. Okay, so QBO, Receipt Bank, Net Payroll, so that's great. Let's see if there's any more comments coming in. Not a lot. So, yeah, which is fine. Maybe everybody's just kind of using the same ones. So we're not going to focus on, any of the payroll or any of the receipt processing ones like HubDoc and Receipt Bank today. We're just going to be focusing. Oh, again, there's some more in chat. Sorry, just bring that to chat up. All right, so here we go. HubDoc, Pluto, 17 hats, Asana, QBO Receipt Bank, T-Sheets, Pluto, Trello, QBO 17 hats, HubDoc, Receipt Bank. So there's definitely quite a few here. So that's great. So that's perfect. And of course, I know a lot of the names here, which is great. So that's why it's not surprising that there's not a few 17 hats in here, because everybody knows I love 17 hats as well. Excuse me. Okay. So current pain points. So juggling between multiple solutions. Accounting professionals constantly have to navigate between several solutions and tools to do their work. So for example, tax work to accounting work, and then across multiple clients while managing their work. It's not productive to be constantly switching from one place to another, especially when they're not connected. It takes time, and it's frustrating to maintain all of the information up to date in the different tools, and it's a challenge to get an end-to-end view of their work and their clients. The fear of something falling into the cracks. Bookkeepers' work is completely deadline driven, and the number of deadlines that we have, especially here in Canada, for those Canadians that are on board watching, it can get very, very insane, especially for BC or the PST provinces as well. So our HST filing task, for example, we've got it broken down into anywhere from 10 to 25 tasks for verification and compliance. Missing a deadline can mean fines or losing the client potentially. The existing processes that we have used to track the work that's being done is cumbersome, disjointed, and highly manual, leaving employers feeling overwhelmed and firm owners feeling anxious that things might fall through the cracks. And then a disconnected communication. So accountants and bookkeepers can't communicate with their clients and collect documents within their accounting software where the work is done a lot of the time. So these are the types of pain points that we're going to go through today, and I'm going to be able to show you exactly how we can handle those. So automation. What can you automate? You can automate client email communication, internal tasks or the assignment of tasks, workflow processes, to-do lists, team communication, the retrieval of information, and client contracts and agreements. There's many apps out there to use. Some are standalone and many that integrate with QBO. And of course, they're all different price levels. So today, I'm actually just going to review and highlight what it is that we actually use within our practice. So we use QBO basically to keep everything on track, or sorry, QBOA, which is free to any pro advisor, of course. So we create our overall projects to be done, as well as individual tasks within each project. We can instantly assign the task to ourselves or our team members. We can see what's due and when it's due. We can check our progress in real time. We can filter by client or assignee. We can edit project details right within the dashboard. Plus, we can see our clients' QuickBooks notifications from there too. And just as a tip, keep the QBO desktop app open to your company. And then that way you can keep your work open all day without having to close it out anytime that you want to change in between company files. So I use my QBOA app through Chrome to actually work with my clients. And then I use my desktop app down here, which I don't know why it hasn't liked me yesterday or today. I'll probably have to sign out and sign back in, but that's what we do, and we keep that open in the company file and in the work tab, so that way I'm not keeping that. So what we like about this, again, there's deadline management in there. It's a lot easier to monitor the task status, make and get updates, easy delegation and adding the to-dos, the client connection. So we can compose messages and requests, streamline client communication, share client documents, stay visible and accessible, and then we can access, I guess, everything on one list and on the go through the mobile app, and we can keep everything all in one place. So we get to connect with our clients as well using these apps, so we can send messages and receive requests to clients. Again, receive replies, all without leaving your workflow. Sharing the client documents to keep them organized in a password protected environment. We don't email anything out that could put clients at risk for identity theft. We're posting notifications that your clients can see in their QuickBooks online account and in their email inbox, and easily access any shared documents from the client list, again, whether it be on the go or your mobile device. So 17 hats. Anybody who knows me knows, again, we've done webinars on 17 hats. We use this to automate a lot as well. So we use this to automate our email communication. We automate client emails. We automate client reminders. We have automatic client questionnaires and email templates. So we don't type an email more than once. It's automatically in there. We baby our clients. And so we send them an awful lot of reminders. We generally, by the 15th of an HST quarter, have 99% of all of our HSTs filed. And that's because we're actually babying our clients, but we're doing it with this automation. We set it up once a year on a workflow for them, and that's it. We don't have to touch it again. They're getting email reminders, every month to make sure that, hey, it's in the month, make sure everything's submitted. Oh, it's an HST quarter. Make sure you've got everything submitted. So there's a lot of those. And then again, we've got automated templates so that we can just open the template, fill in the blanks, and then send it. So that way, again, we're saving time using the automation. We do use 17 hats as a full CRM. We keep our client contact information, client notes, client contracts, and pricing selections. We don't use 17 hats for documents. We prefer to keep that in QBOA because I know that the password protected environment, everything's in there. Or we keep that, of course, in Receipt Bank or HubDoc. And then 17 hats does have a QBO integration for invoices. They actually have a manual sync right now to even Canada QBO, which is great. And then we use Slack. So we use Slack as an internal communication. We use it to declutter our desk. It declutters our email inbox. It makes for easier internal communication. We use it for tasks. So we actually have the icons, which I will pop in and show you in there as well, that we use them for a legend. And each and every one of these has a legend printed and taped to our computers. So we've got, for example, there's little eyes. So when somebody's viewed it, we use the eyes for viewed. A thumbs up means I've got this. A check mark for when the action is completed. You can star it, which now I'm creating my own to-do list that I'm working from. If there's a phone call that needs to be returned, we use a little phone icon. And then we use a red SOS flag when there's something that's urgent. So this is something, instead of writing little post-it notes, leaving on each other's desk, sending emails, which could get lost in the emails, this is actually how we do the internal communication. So we know when we see something through there and that's popped up, that is of utmost importance. And that's right at the bottom of my screen. There's nothing there, but if there is something, I hear a little pop, and then there'll be a little one there. Maybe Sandra, who's in the background here, she can just send me a little note in there, just so that way you can kind of see how easy it is as far as that stays open. So I'll just give a moment for that. And then there is, of course, the QBOA integration. And the QBOA, there's task notifications that do go over to Slack. That you can do project assignment, completion, reminder notifications. And then there's a link in the Slack assignment back to the QBOA task. So there is no pop-up. I don't think Sandra heard me. Oh, sorry, yeah, message me in Slack. Okay, sorry, she did hear me. I wasn't sure. We all have headsets here, so when the phones are off, we actually sometimes will just work with our headsets on and I'll listen to our own form of music. So I wasn't sure if that's what she was doing. So we'll just give a moment for a message see. So now we can see that the one has popped up. So our eyes need to be drawn to that. We do still use our inboxes through Outlook as well as our 17 hats, kind of as a combined for email, because in 17 hats, to use it as a CRM, the client has to have their email as their primary email in there. So we still kind of juggle back and forth with both, but we make sure that we respond to clients in 17 hats. That way there's a full detail list of all of our communication in our notes. Okay, so we'll move on. Now, what are the benefits? So the benefits and how to win with using QBOA practice management or the work tab is you can save money. So you're saving money by minimizing the apps that you're using, and you're going to save money on administration costs for administrative tasks. You'll save time and make your deadlines. So signing in and out of multiple apps and having them time out on you can be frustrating and waste time. Trying to remember who you delegated work to as well. I know that's not very convenient, especially if you're working more in a paper environment, which hopefully we're not. But if you are, if it's not seen, it's intended out. So, work can easily make it further down a pile, a manual pile if it's sitting in there, or paperwork can move to somebody else's desk. So they say out of sight, out of mind. And trying to figure out if tasks have been completed or if are still a work in progress or how far complete they are. So you can definitely save time on all of that. And then client communication. Clients will be happier with more clear communication and reminders. Clients won't lose emails, notes, or text among their email list, and you can get client responses sooner to stay on top of the client work. So now we're just going to take a close up. So these are some screenshots. I'm just going to show you what's available, and then we're going to dive right in and do an actual demo. So you can create a single project. I'll just see if I can move this bar. No, I can't. Hopefully you guys can't see these bars that keep popping up here. But you can create a single project in QBOA. You can create a recurring project in QBOA as well. There is a view work progress update. So you can see right here. Let me just turn this into my pointer. So you can see right here, there's 2 of 3 tasks, which makes it real convenient. And then the green line, so it stands out. So if you don't necessarily see this 2 or 3, that line is going to stand out. You can see that's 2/3 done, which makes it very convenient. There is a mobile status view. So this is really cool that you can check this on the go from your cell phone. Create a client request. So here's where you can communicate with the client in here. Now, of course, this does work best when you're dealing with clients who do have QBOA or QBO access. They will receive an email if you set it up for that, as well as a pop-up in their QBO file, and then they can upload it directly from there. So this won't work if you're working with a client who has nothing to do with their QBO books, which I do have many clients that we work with that. So this process won't work with that. So just keep that in mind. Again, the flow needs to fit with when you're working with a client. So you can do a request that you need bank statements, a little note, and then you can add a document here, or the client, again, can add back. Notify client, so they'll be notified, and you can publish it to their QuickBooks. Here's their email notification. So again, it's publishing to the QuickBooks. Here's everything, and here's a copy of the email that's going to go out. So this little toggle switch here is you can allow replies. So if you allow replies, then the client can just reply to you in the email. If you have this toggled off, then they have to respond in QuickBooks. It says, do not reply to this email. They click on the respond in QuickBooks, they sign in, and they can upload the document. It's pretty cool. Here's the client notification view. So this is what the client is going to see when they go in here. You see this. Here's the question. Here's comments. Here's documents. And you can see that it's in progress. Here's upcoming. And these are all these parts here because there's no work being done on the document or it's still in to do. This is all grayed out. Here's the client respond view. So the client can respond securely from in QBOA's password protected environment. They can just click here, add document, type deep comments, have a conversation. They can download the document if you attach one. So it's quite good for that. The client request progress. So when we're looking at our dashboard, we can see here as well. Here, this is the client. So that's a picture of the client. So we can see here that's still to do. Here's another one with the client, Heart and Hardware. It's in progress and we need bank statements. But we can see it right in here exactly where the progress is. It's pretty cool. And then of course our shared document center. So this is where you're going to go to be able to access your shared documents. It's just a separate tab right up here. And this is within the clients. You do have to leave your work tab, go into the clients tab, and it's right here to the shared documents. So anything that's here, the client will have access to, as well as you will have access to. So if you're putting something in here that you don't want the client to have access to, don't do it, because they'll be able to see everything that's in here. Mobile request. So you can create or edit requests directly from your mobile device. Now we're just going to jump right into demo. So let me toggle back over here. Just make sure that I'm in my work tab. All right, so sorry, I'm just making sure I'm pulling up my training one before I bring this over to, there we go. All right, so here's my training tab. So this is the one that I use for training. So you can see here that we've got definitely some items here. So there's a few different views that you can look at. So first off, here's the tile view. I prefer the tile view because I find it less overwhelming. Now that said, there's a lot of things in here to do. Absolutely, but there's some tricks to this. So first off, anything that is in orange or red if you hover over is overdue. All types, when we look at all types here, I like to put this at projects because if it has all types, it will show you tasks, requests, it'll show you everything. So you can look at just requests. So here's a request that I sent to the client. If I put in projects, you'll notice that request is not here. So that's the only downfall of looking at it in projects versus all types. But our projects might consist of multiple tasks. So this, for example, is 0 of 4 projects. If I want to view all types, I now see 0 of 4. And now here's each of these 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 that are all part of that. So this is where it can sometimes get a little overwhelming. So I'm going to pop in, I'm going to take a look at requests, and I'm going to take a look at projects because I'm so worried about the task because I find them very overwhelming. Of course, yes, I only use this to demo, so that's why there's an awful lot that's behind. So we've got to definitely clear those out, and I'll show you how we can do that. There's another view here, which is your list view. So you can look here again. This might look a little shorter. So we've got all statuses between this year. We go to all types. Oh, no, it's refreshed. I don't like this view because when you've got a lot in here and when you use this to the point that we use this looks forever. So it almost looks like there's so much. So I actually do get a little bit of anxiety when I view it from this tab. Like there's options because some people do prefer to look at it from this tab than the tile tab. So this is great. It gives you the options. You can clearly sort here by name. You can sort by status, by end date. And I don't, due date. So it's definitely got some flexibility with that. So we pop back to tile view. I also want to show you here, this is from QuickBooks. Here's a little toggle switch to turn on and off. If we turn this on, and I don't know why it's not working, there we go, a little bit of a delay. What this does is now this has taken this one here, which is in green, this December 21st, there we'll highlight it right here. It takes this one here and it turns this on. So if you've got a client, let's say that manages their own payroll, or you've got a client that you're not necessarily doing the day-to-day bookkeeping on, you're just offering, like a type of review support or something like that, you see all of their reminders that they've got this many unaccepted transactions. Now, some people might like having this view so that you can say, hey, I see here you've got a lot of unaccepted transactions in your bank feeds. Maybe you should stay on top of your on top of your reconciling. So some people might like it for that. We have a different process where we actually review our clients' files every month and send them like a report card on it. So I find this clutters it because we again help clients that have all different levels. So seeing all of these reminders, I just find again is overwhelming and cluttering to myself. So I always have that toggled off. I can certainly sort here when I pull down this pull down arrow. I can sort by clients. Again, I've got this and I'm only showing our CBS trading ones just for privacy purposes. We can sort by everybody. So this is my whole team. And of course, Lease our demo bookkeeper that we assign everything to, and Lease just so far behind now. And I can tell that by when I sort and look at Lease. Here's just Lease. Most of these projects are Lease. Maybe Lee's been off, maybe Lee's falling behind. So if I look, I want to see Sandra, she's got nothing assigned to this client. And again, if I have this set to all, instead of CBS training to all, I'll be able to see all of our clients' files. But again, demo purposes and privacy, we're just dealing with this. I can see there's Victoria's, there's Leanne's. I've got a few in here, so it's not just Lee that's falling behind, it's both myself and Lee. I'm just going to take up here, we can create a project right here. So we can start to create a project, which I'll demo that shortly. We can create a client request. So here's where we're doing that. And manage templates. This is something that's new. So there are some templates in here that we've started, and here's some quick start templates. So again, I will go back to those momentarily. Okay, and then we've got feedback and notifications. Under this feedback, I will tell you, QuickBooks and Intuit does look at this feedback. Definitely, if there's any suggestions that you have, go ahead here, tell them what you think. Because what happens is how they figure out what they do next and what they work on next is based on the comments and suggestions in here. So if you want to type something in here, you actually do get a chance to vote and see maybe what's similar. So if I want to do something about, recurring emails, if I want to send recurring emails from here, what'll happen is this will actually bring this up right here. So we don't have recurring emails within Canada here, but there are definitely something that you can vote on. So you can open that, take a look, and then you basically click if you want this. So what they do is they look at these and they determine basically which is the highest number of votes. I do believe it's monthly that they sit down and take a look at this list. What has the highest number of votes and what is something that they can do a quick fix on. They'll take that out and they'll try to do a quick fix on that. If it's going to be a longer fix, of course, then they're going to take a look into it and see how long of a fix, how easy it is to fix. That will, still stay on their list, but they know that they're going to look at that. It's a major change, so maybe they'll do that within the next major release, and maybe put that off until whenever the next major release is, versus a quick switch or quick update and start around and scroll it at any time. So definitely do use this because they do listen. And then of course notifications. In here is where you can set up your work notifications. So this is that when you get a new work assignment or when someone makes a change to your project or task, we'll send a notification to your inbox at here. So for new assignment, dates, those go on. Details, status, name, assignees, I've got off because I don't care about bookkeeping, and deletions on. And then this integrates Slack. So here's where you set up your Slack settings. So if you've not set up Slack at all, there actually will be an option up here to integrate with Slack. If you have set up Slack, and then you just added a new client and you add a new channel, and then sync that new one, here's where it'll pop up. You can add anybody, add somebody here. So we don't have anybody new to add. We add next, and then now we can certainly go ahead and add somebody new to here. So let's just deal with Slack right now. So we'll go back in here. So here's Slack. Here's anything that's done. Here's my starred list. It shows up here, my starred items. So this is my to-do list, things that I've got on my to-do list. In here, the QBOA tasks, here's where it's showing me all of these. And then here's Sandra's note that she popped up. There's one, so please call Sandra. So here's where we can do this. I can add a reaction. So I can, again, either do the stars if I just want them to see that I've seen it, but I haven't actioned it. Thumbs up means I'm taking ownership for it. I've got it. Again, the check mark that it's done. Here's the SOS if it's urgent, and you can add multiple. So if this is she's got a phone message, but let's say she wanted that to be urgent, she can add that as well too. And then as well, we've got if there's something we want to see on it, like notes, we might be, add notes. And then a check mark again once it's been done. Someone has completed that call. That way, if Sandra wants to take a look, she can see. So again, we use this for the communication. So when we add some list with the star, and it pops in the star here on my to-do list. And done, I add start, and it. That's really cool. And then we've got our own client channels here. So anything pop into the client. So we will use that for communication back and forth with our clients. All right, so let's just take a look here. So if I wanted to create a brand new project, I can go in here and I can use a template or I can use no template. So if I want to just create something brand new and I want to put in payroll. Now we are in the process of creating templates for almost everything because of course we've got one new person starting on the team and we're juggling things around and we want to make this a little more scalable. So we're constantly looking at our procedures and trying to see how we can make this a little easier. And now with the template feature, since that's been rolled out, this is going to make things so much easier. And here so that again we can be able to turn around and reassign to somebody. So the way that we envision this is, let's say we've got Victoria, she's all caught up on her work, she can pop in, take a look, see who's behind on their tasks, and then maybe grab a task to be able to catch up. So we help each other out here. We don't have set clients that we necessarily work with all the time. So we want to have all of our templates and our tasks with enough detail so that somebody who's not working on the file on a daily basis could easily pick up and work through and still do everything exactly the same as anybody else. So we will be working mostly from templates. Let's just do payroll. Who do I want to add it to? Oops. Sorry about that. I thought I had turned that on, so I'm going to add it to our CBS training. We're going to give a due date, so let's say it's the 31st. And we want to repeat this. So let's say this is a monthly payroll. So we want to do this monthly on the 31st of every 1 month. Or we can go, on the last, whichever day of every month. So there's a lot of flexibility here with that, which is great. So if we pick a day, again, we're picking we do the 31st default to the last, and never we'll assign it to Lee Bookie and, ensure monthly payroll run or, CBS training, although I wouldn't put that in there because it's already assigned to CBS training. I can add multiple tasks. So I can, I can put it as detailed as I want. So open, QBO payroll or WagePoint or knit or whoever we use. So again, I can make this as absolutely detailed as I want. The one thing that you'll notice is with regards to the dates, when I open this, I can make this due before the task. So the task, the project, deadline date was the 31st. I can make this up to the 31st, but I can't make this due after. So basically your project date is when all of your tasks would be done to your project. If you wanted to just start this ahead of time, you can definitely start any task. Not that I would start payroll ahead of time, but you could definitely have tasks started a couple of days ahead of time. Find that you can add details. So again, add these details as you want, and then add another task. So which is great because you can go through and do that, and then you save it. So I can only use a project. So I've already got a project name with payroll. So we'll demo, hit save, and now it'll save it. If you've got something here that is behind, obviously we want to clear these out. So this is just the QBO bank feed. So we can hit canceled if it's not going to be done that week. So let's say lease off. We do this every single week on this client. So there's no point in going and doing it and then saying done, because we're past November 22nd. We didn't do it on November 22nd. So we're just going to hit canceled. We're going to hit canceled, and now it goes away. He's already done receipt bank. And now you can see we've moved on to the next week. So let's say this was done. We're going to click done. Again, this is the payroll, ensure the numbers are received. Now let's say for this, the payroll numbers were never received. And this comes up and it's not our fault. We're gonna use blocked. So how blocked is meant to be used, and of course there's a little red exclamation point, so it'll stand out to you. But this is meant to say that, hey, we're blocked. It's not the client's, it's not our fault. There's something that's stopping us from doing this. So this would, generally be information from a client. So which is great. Again, down here you can see this project is status 1 of 4. So it's about 25% of the way through, which is great. So I'm not going to worry about clearing all of those out. We are going to actually take a quick look at the templates. So when we go into manage templates, we've got, here's some quick start templates that Intuit's provided us. So what they did is they work with firms and say, okay, what is your progress or your process on this? And that they've actually started to click. Here's the steps. So there's 6 steps in a bookkeeping. So you can duplicate, create a project. Client onboarding has 12 steps. Payroll's got 5. And year end has got 7. Now, let's say we take a look at this and we actually want to click right into a view preview. You still see the same thing. But if we actually click right into it, we'll take a look. You can see this. And if you click on these, some of these, this doesn't show the detail. So you need to be careful if you're looking at that. Like here, there's details. So you need to click show details. This will tell you how to get in there. If you just look at it from the main view, you're not going to see the details in there. So again, if you're using detailed notes in there, it's important to look at that. We do within our practice. I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to go a little bit further in and show. So for example, here's our HST filing. When we click on here, there's just 9 things. Looks pretty straightforward. When we actually click directly into it to create the project, we start clicking, oh, there's notes. Where's the notes? Oh, this actually shows us what the initial setup is for this report, and then little notes on it. It's different things that they would be looking for in that report. So it is very important within our firm and the way that we have everything, that there are notes. So again, that we're looking at the notes. So again, it's giving you more information here. Important here, does not match, do not file. So there's different notes, again, to do. So you can use it as detailed as you want. Just make sure that your team knows to look on those notes before they actually just start ticking those tasks off, because you can't see from here until you click on it that there's actually notes within there. See the details. So important communication and training on how you want to work that is very important. Let's pop back here and create client request. So if we want to create a client request, we can, I don't know why this isn't coming up. Here we go. Okay, so you can request a name. So again, let's say we wanted to please, submit. So let's say, so we use HubDoc and Receipt Bank, and of course to pull our bank statements in. So we're not going to ask them to submit bank statements. What we do have a process here is if we are reconciling, or even every week when we're sitting there clearing the bank feed, if we haven't received a receipt for something, we're actually going to request that. So let's say we're at the end of the month, because we usually give them a little bit of lead time. Let's say we're at the end of the month, we want to reconcile. There's a bunch of stuff unreconciled or haven't received. we're going to reconcile it and we're going to temporarily put that to an Ask Client account with no sales tax because we don't know what that is yet. Because again, I won't publish anything without a receipt for compliance. So at that point, we're then going to pull that into a report and send that to the client. So here's a good way that I could communicate with the client. I could please review list of missing receipts and submit. I'm going to select my client, so CBS training. Due date, let's say I'll give the client a week because we don't want to give them too long. Leave the status as to do, and if there's any more details that I want to add in there, we seem to be missing the receipts of the list attached. Please submit these through receipt bank. And I can't spell today. Oh my goodness, receipt bank. And then we can add a document. So I can click here and now I can upload that Excel sheet or that PDF list or however it is that I put that. Click the notified client and now I can publish to the client's QuickBooks. So here again, I can allow them to reply to email, in which case they can either click to respond in QuickBooks or they can reply to the email. If I don't want them to, I've simply got that turned on and it says do not reply to this email. And with no email address, I guess that's because there's no email address on there. But here it's in the reply at intuit.com. We allow replies, the reply to here comes up. So if the client doesn't see and there's no replies, it's going to go to the no reply and they're probably going to get, I've never actually tried this, but if we did try to do that, then I would say that we're likely going to get a response back saying that they have, replied to an inbox that is not monitored, because I know I've had that when I've replied to something on Intuit. I think it was the same box. Then we're going to type in the client's email address, add anything to here, and then go ahead and publish it and send it. Now, it's not letting me publish and send because I don't have email address entered. All right, so I put that in. Now I can publish and send the email. When we do that, it should now show up here. So here it is. It's over under next week for when it's due. So I'll be able to see when the client goes in. Of course, there's no attachment. There's no comments yet, but it's showing as sent. Once the client's looked at it, read it, we'll be able to do that. So if I want to, make any changes or have a continued conversation with the client, I can do that from here as well, which is pretty cool. Excuse me, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so I think that was pretty much everything to demo. We've got now 15 minutes left, so if there's any questions, I see some comments and questions here, so I'll start to answer these. So if there is anything else that you want to add, feel free to go ahead and add that in here. So is there a different screen? I only see the automation tools box. So Lillian, were you guys seeing my screen? So if anybody can respond if they were actually able to see my screens. Okay, you see my screens. Okay, perfect, thank you. So maybe it was just at the beginning that I just hadn't brought everything up yet, which is great. And I'm breaking up, and I'm sorry guys, that's probably my voice. Again, the laryngitis here because I am using my mic. So I apologize for that. I will do another webinar once I've got my voice completely back. I did not expect it to take this long for my voice to recover at all when I scheduled this. So I apologize for that because there's a lot of people saying that the voice is fading out. That's on my phone, and it's not the internet because I'm on the highest 5 here. It's got to be with my voice. So is it possible to add projects for non-QBO clients? Linda, absolutely it is. You can go in here and create a project and you pick your client, you can click add new. So you can add any client's name. They do not have to be in QBO. If you invoice them from your own QBO, then they're here automatically. If you don't invoice them from your own QBO, then you'll have to add them in here. But absolutely, it does work for that. So that's great. Okay, perfect. How do you both keep both QBO and QBOA open at the same time? So Diane, so this is where I would have, so if we go in, I'll just show you guys here. So if I open an incognito window, it should actually bring that up for me automatically, and it does not. So let me try to sign out here. So if I sign out, right here. So this is what I download. So I download the QBOA desktop app, download it for free, and then I keep this here. So this is what this is, and I've been having an issue for the past couple of days on mine, and I don't know why. So I do have to report this. But this is what I do is I keep this open. There's a couple of ways that you could do this. So try to sign in and see if there's a technique through here. If not, you could do incognito. The problem with keeping the browser open and having an incognito browser is it will time you out after 3 hours is the maximum that you can do that. So I don't like to do that, just again, because it'll time me out. So let's see here. I'll just sign in and see if it'll accept it this time. If not, like you say, I'm making an appointment with support. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so looks like they've got to do something to try to reconnect, but that's, and unfortunately, that's the problem when you demo live, is things don't always necessarily work, and it was working up until yesterday for me. So that's the one option, anyways, to keep that open, or just simply open incognito is another way to do it. And again, I've got to go there. So open incognito and leave myself signed in incognito. So then that way I'm not going back and forth. Or you can have different Chrome identities. So I know there are some people that do that. I've got 2 different Chrome identities, so I could easily do that. Have one Chrome open to one identity, one to the other, or you can even use a different browser. I prefer Chrome, and of course, QBO is maximized for Chrome, but you could use your Edge, your Explorer, or Firefox as well. And as long as you're signed in differently, everything is fine. So hopefully that answers your question, Diane. And Bori is asking, what is the top time-saving app that I'm using? Really, it has to be 17 Hats. QBOA keeps us on track for our deadlines, but because of all the automated email that we do, we really, 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 17 Hats saves more time. It saves us about 10 hours on our firm. So that's where a lot of the time saving has come from, is with our firm app. Where the QBOA can come in and do a time savings is, of course, that's training time savings. If you're using everything, you've got your templates and your workflows outlined, it can definitely save you time with training and explaining things to client and keep you on track. But time savings really is 17 right now, just because of the automatic recurring emails, which is not available in QBOA. If it was, if I could set emails to automatically recur, just like I can with the tasks, then absolutely I would be doing that within QBOA, because I would want to keep everything in the one spot because it makes life easier. Okay, any other questions at all? Anything that anybody else wants to see? I'm not seeing anything here. Okay, so then let me ask you guys, would you guys like, I mean, I don't know, I'm just seeing some of the notes here as to my voice going in and out. Would it be beneficial for me that you guys would come to another one of these once my voice is all cleared up and then I'm not losing my voice in and out, and I could definitely even try a different microphone. Okay, so there's a few saying yes. Okay, so I will do that. I'll definitely do that. I will go ahead and I'll make sure that I keep the list for everybody that's registered here, and I will send you a new list. Absolutely. I'll wait until my voice has completely come back, just so that way it's we don't have to worry. So it may not be until January, but I will absolutely do that then. And okay, so somebody says that they've got it. So I'll send the list, and then you guys can just decide if you want to join up. So I won't automatically register you. I'll send an email with the link, and then you can decide if you want to or not, which is great. Okay, and then the QBOA app to download again is right on your main sign-in screen, Diane. When you go and you sign in right here, it's right here. So you're just going to click this download it free. And if it doesn't show up on here, just try to refresh the screen, but it should show up just to the left of your actual sign-in. Okay, and so what is the benefit of the app? Heather, I'm assuming that you mean a benefit of having the desktop app. The benefits to that is, yes, okay, perfect. So the benefit to that is, of course, when it's working, like I can't demo today, it does not time you out, whereas you are timed out of your QBOA tab when you're up in Chrome. It times you out after 1 hour unless you've changed your setting to 3 hours. You actually stay signed into the desktop app all the time, which is a great benefit, as well as you can keep your work tab open, and then you can do a duplicate. So if I sign in here under Chrome and I have my work tab open on one, and then I want to go pop into a client. So let's pop into my work here. And then I want to duplicate and pop into a client. As soon as I actually change this to a client or change into a different tab, it'll automatically basically knock me out of the work tab over here. So if I'm in one client, but as soon as I get out of work and get into a client, then that's where there becomes issues. So as long as I am all in the same client, no problem, or I'm all in my books, no problem. But we can't have that flexibility. So that does happen. Okay, so I've got questions. So there's a few more questions going in here. Sorry, some of you are putting questions in the questions. Some of you are putting questions in chat. So I'm just kind of going back and forth. So if Santa, you've asked, are you going to show us how to use Works within the QBO? I probably already answered that because all of this is in the Work tab. Absolutely. Diane, how do you keep both open using Chrome? Okay, I've already answered that. For files that aren't on QBO, what's your workflow to share questions, answers, files, etc.? Brian, we have all clients on QBO except for our tax clients, and that we actually use 17 hats for. We can definitely keep, again, clients that aren't on QBO. We try to keep everything, again, either in 17 hats or in QBOA work, because again, we can create somebody, they don't have to be on QBO to be using a workflow or a template in QBO work. Okay, so there's a lot of people that are asking that same question. And the list view showed completed tasks. Brian, you're asking that. So if we pop back to the list view, yes, you can pull down here and you can see all statuses. So when we change this over, and maybe there is a little bit of an internet issue because this is slow today, which there shouldn't be because I am on everything. So yes, right here, Brian, you can definitely tick off. So if you don't want to see the status of everything that's done, we just simply take that off. You can look at that. We track time spent working in each of the tasks within the project, has been asked. Unfortunately, not using QBO or QBOA. You can use T-sheets for that. There is something, if you use 17 hats, there is a time tracking in that, but within QBO directly, if you're jumping back and forth, not necessarily. There is a time feature that if you're using the QBO app here, the desktop app, that you just need to remember to make sure to go back and change that. So you could definitely work that. Don't use 17 hats for workflow, somebody's asked me. And no, I don't use 17 hats for workflow. I use 17 hats for email automation. The only workflows that we use in 17 hats are for taxes. Everything else is handled in QBOA, so there's no duplication. Can you communicate with a non-QBO client through QBO? Yes, absolutely you can. You're still going to be creating the client request. And again, as long as they're in here as a client, which you've added new as a client, not necessarily a QBO client, you can absolutely communicate with them that way. And Diane, where do you find the app? I've shown you that. Okay, so it looks like I've answered all of the questions here. So yes, I will absolutely be sending a recording of this session. And absolutely for Bori, and there was a few others, I will absolutely repeat this once I've got my voice back, and I will try to figure out what's gone on with the internet. And again, apologies for that. So before we go then, was there any other questions that we have? I'll give a moment, and I'm watching both the questions and the chat, so wherever you put it, that's great. So there's, do we do one-on-one in setting up the QBOA work? I absolutely could give help. This is something that we usually cover in boot camp. We get more in detail, but if somebody needs some help, I would definitely work something to need some help. Sure. Okay. Okay. So does QBOA include time tracking? I see that. So I've just kind of answered that. And again, this may have been typed as I was answering. Then absolutely you can do that again through your QBOA. The problem is, again, you have to jump back and forth, so I would not recommend it. I would recommend definitely T-Sheets. As long as your T-Sheet certified, your T-Sheets is free. So that's what we use here for doing any time tracking. We use T-Sheets because we can have that open. There's an app on our phone, and again, it's free because we're T-Sheet certified. So that would be my recommendation for that. Okay, perfect. So I don't see any new questions, so that's great. Again, I thank you very much. I apologize for my voice and the technical issues, but I will make sure to, again, schedule a new one in January for all of those that want to see this again. And there will be an email that will go out within 2 days. You'll have the email link for this. Perfect. Thank you very much to everybody for taking the time to join me. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, or whatever else that you celebrate. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.